Story 1. Am I the a-hole for being disrespectful to my boyfriend's sister? My 24 female boyfriend, Zach's 24 male mother passed away when he was 11 years old. His father worked a lot, so Zach's older sister, Elise, now 30 female, basically became the woman of the house, for lack of a better term. She cooked all the meals, cleaned the house, drove Zach to school and other activities, etc. She was extremely parentified, and I do feel for her on that front. She went to a local college. Because of all this, Zach and Elise are very close. He has a lot of respect for her. Zach and I have dated for nearly a year. We are very different in terms of backgrounds. He is much more reserved than I am. Before me, he spent a lot of his weekends gaming or just hanging out with a small group of friends. I tend to go out. I work hard all week and want to enjoy the time I have off. Zach is a shy, somewhat nerdy guy, and I do think I've broken him out of his shell a little, pushing him to do things out of his comfort zone. Elise and their father have made several comments about him changing. She's very nice and cordial when we see each other, but she's made several comments about Zach not needing to change who he is. Sunday, Zach invited myself, some of his friends, his dad, sister, Bil, and niece over to watch the game. At one point, vacations got brought up. I mentioned I was trying to convince him to go on a 2-day, local cruise with me as he's never been on one. Zach reminded me he's not the biggest fan of boats. I pointed out he's never been on one and we could rent one to take out so he could get used to it. He was somewhat on the fence. Myself and one of his buddies were trying to help him see it's not so bad. Elise butted in and said, "If he doesn't want to go, then I'm sure you can find something else to do." I said I was pretty sure I could talk him into it. She asked why I would want to go if he really didn't want to. I said of course I would never try to force him to go, but it's just something to think about. She repeated that he doesn't like boats and that I should respect that. I rolled my eyes, not really understanding why she was so adamant on this, and said she needed to relax. She's not his mother, she shouldn't care this much about the situation. Elise was clearly upset by the comment, but didn't say anything else. The subject got changed and I thought all was well. A little later, Zach asked for my help getting something out of his room. Once in there, he told me I was out of line for how I spoke to his sister. I said she was the one that was getting up in our business. Zach said that I kept pushing it and got upset when I said, "Well, clearly she and your dad didn't push you enough to try new things." He said I was being disrespectful and needed to apologize to Elise. I laughed and said no, she needs to butt out. Zach finally asked me to leave. I did, aggravated. I really thought my friends would be on my side, but they said I crossed a line. Am I the a-hole? Story 2. Am I the a-hole for regifting my boyfriend's Christmas present, $1,300 laptop, to my sister? I, 23 female, love my boyfriend, 24 male, and have been dating him for about 2 years. He has always been really supportive, and our relationship is great, so when it came time for Christmas, I wanted to get him something really special. He has been complaining about his laptop for a while, and has expressed the desire to upgrade to a newer model. I decided I would surprise him with a brand new laptop for Christmas. I wanted to get him the best laptop I could, so for the weeks leading up to Christmas, when he'd complain about his laptop, I'd take these opportunities to casually ask him which laptop he liked, what he wanted in a new laptop, and so on. The main problem he had with his laptop was the speed. So, I thought it would be fitting to get him the same model that he had, MacBook Pro, just the latest version. Now, I'm not a tech person. I don't know the first thing about RAM, SSD, etc. I just assumed a $1,300 laptop would be more than enough for his needs. So I bought the laptop, without doing any more research into it. Christmas Day came and I gave my boyfriend the laptop. He was so excited, until he saw the specs. When he saw that the laptop had 8 GB of RAM, he was really disappointed, because he couldn't get his work done on such a slow machine. He was adamant that he needed something with more RAM. This turned into a full-blown argument. I tried to explain to him that I had done my best and spent a lot of money on the laptop, so he should appreciate it, but he wasn't having it. He said he would rather return the laptop and get the one he wanted. At this point, I was really hurt and upset. I had gone out of my way to get him a really nice present, and I felt like he didn't appreciate it at all. Yes, I could return it, and get him the one he wanted, but I had already spent a lot of money. The fact that he wasn't even willing to give it a chance made me really frustrated. So long story short, I decided to re-gift the laptop to my sister, 19 female. She's a college student, and I know she could really use a laptop like this. I know it may sound selfish, but I didn't think it was fair that he didn't appreciate my gift, and I wanted to make sure the laptop went to someone that would actually appreciate it. My boyfriend is, to put it bluntly, pissed. He does not understand why I wouldn't just return it and get him the one he wanted, and cannot believe I would do something so selfish when I know how much he needs a new laptop. I feel kind of bad, but at the same time, this wasn't cheap for me, and a little appreciation would have been nice. Am I the a-hole? Story 3. Am I the a-hole for calling out my boyfriend and kicking out his best friend after they did something extremely stupid? For context, my boyfriend Ezra, 28 male, and I, 25 female, have been together for 2 years. We have shared an apartment since last September, and we're happier than ever. One of Ezra's closest friends, Nick, 27 male, was staying with us for a couple of days. Ezra and Nick were roommates for a few years at college, but Nick moved to Spain, so this was the first time I actually met him. Nick stayed 2 nights at our apartment, but the first night he complained about our guest room's bed. He is pretty tall, taller than my BF, so he'd be around 6'4", and he said the bed was too small. My BF made the best out of the situation and dismantled the bed, put the mattress on the floor, and that was it. They spent the entire day talking in that room, and by the evening they basically cancelled our plans together. I thought it was rude to me, but I let it pass. Nick continued gatekeeping Ezra for the rest of the next day, but honestly I didn't mind BC, I had my own night out with my friends. The conflict was that at some point on the second night, when I was out with a couple of my friends, Ezra stepped on broken glass. They didn't tell me until the next morning. I got mad that Nick himself basically disinfected, applied bandage and applied a Steristrip adhesive. Ezra is diabetic and he can't mess with that. I told them they were stupid and irresponsible. My father is a doctor, so I take that seriously. Nick is not a doctor, he is a bartender and a college dropout. We, the 3 of us, immediately went to the ER that morning. I was okay with them spending time together, but that was too much, so I said he should find somewhere else to stay when we were waiting in the ER for my BF, if he wanted to act like a child. Nick didn't respond, and he didn't say anything to me. He left after a while, and a few hours later he texted Ezra he was leaving. The rest of that week was very uncomfortable. My BF barely spoke to me, and now he's still giving me the silent treatment. My point of view is that I handle the situation very maturely, and I don't think I was out of place. Am I the a-hole?